welcome to class 7 of your chakra cleanse. Today we're going to do some poses that are aimed at opening up through the crown chakra. This is your Sauer chakra. That one's not the easiest one to say. So we're going to start in what's called tree pose. And in your tree, I want you to think about making really strong legs. We're going to be picking a point that is not moving to help focus your mind. A lot of times when we fall out of poses that are balancing poses, it's because we aren't focused in our minds. And we're going to think about lifting up through the spine and up out of that chakra. So we're going to stand on the left foot to begin. I'd like you to either bring your foot down along the side of your ankle. If you have any trouble balancing, this is a place to build that balance. Balance requires all these little tiny muscles, so they aren't built overnight. Otherwise, you can come anywhere below the knee. You can come anywhere above the knee. And Barbara's going to show us another option where she's coming into half lotus with a tree. So it's a combination of the two. So find the point that's best for you. I'd like you to pull your foot into your leg back into your foot. That's going to really bring you into your core line. And then get that lift in the spine. Hands can pull into the heart. And you're breathing. If you fall out, don't worry. Trees fall down all the time and they just get right back up again. So I've got my hands in front of the heart. Georgia is showing us another version with the hands overhead. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your gaze, finding that point that isn't moving, releasing through your toes. And then we'll release that leg down to the ground. Give them a little shake out. If you need to stretch through the bottom of your foot, just press into the top of your toes and stretch that bottom of the foot through the plantar, fasciitis, and all that kind of good stuff. Plantar, not fasciitis, fascia, and all that good stuff. And then we'll come to the other side. So get that really strength through that right leg this time, thinking about all your muscles pulling in towards the center of your leg. Foot on the floor, foot below the knee, foot above the knee. Again, Barbara's going to show us that different option where she's taking half lotus in her tree pose. It's a more advanced option. We're thinking about that opening through the hip as you're coming into that. And then hands either to your heart. You can keep them on your hips if that's more comfortable for you. You can bring them overhead. Your choice. Another fun thing that we like to do in tree posing class is to take the hand down along the knee and then open up to one side and carve over. If you want to try that option, that's another one you can do. Moving and balancing poses is not the easiest thing to do, as I fall down, to prove my point. Hands to your heart once again. 2 big breaths right there. And then every day is different. Sometimes we're balanced and we can stand there forever, sometimes we can't. That's yoga. So if you need to stretch the bottom of your foot once again, just press into the toes, get into that bottom of the foot. Oftentimes when you're feeling that cramping at the bottom of your foot, it's because we're gripping in our toes a lot and it's really reacting in our foot. So try and not do that. So we're going to move on to our next pose, which is, ladies, I forget again.
Let's look and cut.
I'm sorry, we all forget now.
Now we all forget. Corpse and
lotus.
Lotus, right.
Okay, and then corpse. Just stand back up and then we cut the video there.
Yeah, okay. All right, so from tree, we're going to have a seat in lotus. We can either always move through a vinyasa to get down to the floor, or today we're just going to sit for the sake of time. So you have different options here. Lotus pose is an extremely deep pose. It's a deep hip opener. It's contraindicated. So anybody with knee issues, please don't take this pose, or ankle issues. We're going to show you some options. Right now I'm sitting in what's called Sukhasana, or easy seat. Easy seat is taking one heel in towards the perineum, the other heel directly in front of it. Tops of the feet can be on the floor. If it's more comfortable for you, you can always sit on a block, and by sitting on a block, you allow the hips to open a little bit more, allow the knees to come down to the floor a little bit more. If you're finding this very easy and you want to move into the next position, we're going to take the feet a little bit closer toward each other. And we're going to take one foot and we're going to bring the top of the foot up onto the hip. I want you to flex your toes as you point your foot. Have a look at your foot. Make sure you're pushing down on the big toe ball, or the little toe, sorry, your baby toe ball mound on this foot. Try and reduce the number of wrinkles right here in your ankle. And we'll just sit. This is a meditative position for some. For others, it's painful. If it's painful for you, please don't take this pose. So we want to take the easy seat, Sukhasana. Take a couple of nice deep breaths right here. And then releasing. If you're doing one foot at a time, we're going to switch sides. Barb and Georgia are going to show you the option that has both feet in full lotus. So otherwise, your right foot is coming in toward opposite sitting bone, left foot coming up. Notice the difference in the sides of your body. So oftentimes one side we can come into a position, the other side we can't. There's always one side that's tighter. We just work that side a little bit harder. So honor where you are. Again, we're coming into that lotus with the toes flexing. The foot is having as little wrinkles as possible in the ankle. And as I said, Barb and Georgia are both in full lotus. It's a more advanced pose. Lengthen up in your spine. Take nice deep breaths. And right here, you can start to focus your mind on that crown chakra, the Sahasrara chakra. And imagine a white, glowing energy coming up from the crown of the head. Take 2 more breaths right there. And then we're going to release the feet. We're going to take both feet out front, lengthen the legs. We're going to lean into our hands and just windshield wiper your feet side to side. It's just to loosen up through your hips and knees. And then we're going to lay right on the back. We're coming into corpse pose. So feet are coming out to about that distance apart. We're tucking the shoulders under. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling. I want you to think about weighting your head toward the floor. So just noticing if the full weight of your head is on the floor. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow feet to splay out to the sides. If you're feeling any discomfort in this pose, you can always bring the feet up, bend the knees, draw the knees together like a tent, and the feet out to about that distance apart. And corpse pose is the ultimate in relaxation. Every yoga class ends with it. It's a great way to close. We often do meditation at this point, and we recommend about 10 minutes in Shavasana, corpse pose. When you go to get up from Shavasana, you're going to be rolling onto your side. You're going to be taking your top hand and pushing into the floor as you lift yourself up, and then you can come to a seated position. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the poses that are associated with each of the chakras. Thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for coming out for this event. And namaste.
Namaste.